Hey everyone, thank you for listening to another episode of Spoiler Force Podcast. You can find more episodes on any major podcasting platform such as Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, and even on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe and make sure to follow and like Spoiler Force Podcast on Facebook.
Hey, what's up, Ranger fans? This is Steve Cardenas, aka Rocky the Red Power Ranger, and you are listening to Spoiler Force Podcast. Morphin' time.
Alright, so this is episode 79 of Spoiler Force Podcast. My name is Ricky and thank you for tuning in. Please let me know if you can hear me. I just want to make sure the audio is working. Again, as you can see, I'm not in the area where I usually record. I had to record up in the upstairs room of my house because I have people over and I need it quiet. And I'll be eating cough drops from time to time throughout this podcast because I'm still suffering from like a cough, which is not really COVID, but just want to be safe and don't want to cough too much on the podcast here. So before I bring in my guest, he's someone that's been on the podcast before. This is his third appearance, or the Three-peat, as we spoke about before. So just let me let me bring in my guest here, Van Brookes. There you go.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Man, this is crazy, man. Right at the end of the year, to have you back on, it's great.
Yeah, no, it's a great way to go out the year with a bang. So I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, the last time you were on the podcast, it was back in like March, because that's when we were that's when My Hero came out in theaters. It was already right. It's like right before COVID.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, man, that makes me. I miss the theater so much. By the way.
It's like not what, eight months ago, and it feels like it's been years since we've been to the theaters and stuff.
Bro, I swear this year has gone by really slow. Except for the holidays, though. Like when it hit November, I feel like time kind of picked up a little bit. I don't know about you, but
excuse me. I feel like this year, actually, I feel like it's been pretty quick. I've been busy, with the podcast and everything and working too. So like working the 9 to 5, coming home, doing podcasts, just staying productive. But yeah, man, like the holidays hit. And by the time I knew it, it was Thanksgiving. And then now it's almost Christmas next week. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, no, it's nuts. Yeah, the holidays especially picked up super fast for some reason.
So have you done any Christmas shopping already, or tried to?
Oh man, I'm like the worst when it comes to Christmas shopping or just gift shopping in general. Like I'll sometimes even do it like the day of. Like if it's someone's birthday, like I'm going to like a cousin's, birthday party, I'll go like to Target or something the day of and write in their card last minute. So no, I haven't gone Christmas shopping yet. I'll probably go like Christmas Eve.
I told my folks, I was like, I'm getting you guys stuff for Amazon, like gift cards and stuff, because that's all that's available right now.
You can't go wrong with Amazon cards, so that's good.
And speaking of Amazon cards, man, if anyone's watching or that's listening when this comes out on audio on Sunday, definitely subscribe to the YouTube channel for Spoiler Force, because I am doing a giveaway. If you guys didn't know, I haven't really been promoting it as much as I should have. Might as well just do it now because I'm almost at 500 subscribers right now. So I just need 1 or 2 more people. And once I hit 500, the giveaway will start, and then I'll probably send out the gift cards probably after Christmas or something. But yeah, just wanted to announce that really quick before we get into this podcast's topics of many things here. Honestly, I don't even know where to start, Van, because the Three-peat, I was already excited just to have you on. I mean, besides Andrew, because Andrew's always, he's always going to be there, whether it's a last minute episode or something planned. You're the first guest out of all my guests that's actually done a Three-peat.
Sweet. No, I'm honored, bro. I was excited to hear that I'll be back on for the third time. So it's always a fun time whenever I'm on here.
So what have you been up to, man, since March? I know you did like a social media hiatus for quite some time for the summer. I was actually, because like when we last spoke, we were just talking about like how you were gonna kind of like come back a little bit and do comedy or something like that again, or do something different, you know?
Yeah. Shoot. Well, I guess maybe I should start off with like why I took the hiatus.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. However you feel comfortable saying it.
yeah, no, for sure. Well, for like the reason why I took a hiatus was just because like I think it started around the death of George Floyd here in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and that just kind of took a heavy toll on me, just emotionally, physically, mentally. My sister visited me the day that it happened, and we talked about it, and I just like bawled. It's just like kind of traumatic to see just people getting Black people in particular being victims of police brutality, and me being a Black man, obviously I really really feel that. And so yeah, and then just the videos and the images on social media, it was just kind of just like pouring in, and so it was just kind of too much for me. I needed the break, and so that was really just the reason why I've been on a hiatus. And that was from like, man, I think that was like from May till like September. I think it was like a few solid months.
Yeah, pretty much all summer.
Yeah, like the latter parts of spring and then all summer. Yeah, and then it came back in September. So that was pretty much the reason why I took a hiatus, just take a little break from social media. But as far as what I've been doing, man, I just been like you. I just been working. I work as a educational assistant at a high school, and so school year started, so I was back at that. Just working out, just always working out at the gym, getting it in. Been studying to be a personal trainer, and I also picked up a part-time job at the Muay Thai gym. That's been really fun. And then also training myself, trying to get back into boxing, and hopefully get my first amateur boxing match this summer, God willing.
Yeah, you're gonna get Jake Paul on that undercard.
Oh yeah, if the money's right. Anybody, if the money's right.
Yeah, you pretty much like just brushed over the topics I kind of just wanted to dive into. So we're gonna break through that slowly, because if you got time. So first, let me just take a look at some of these comments here. Sub Alex, he says the audio is good. Alex says, what up, Van Brooks?
What up?
Stan Moore, he says, sup. Thank you guys for engaging as well in the comments. But yeah, man, just you talk about the weightlifting and all that. We spoke about that the last time too, how you were doing a lot of the football training. Did you get injured this year? Was that what happened too? Yeah,
man, I got injured. It was during April. I was just playing like a pickup game with some of my teammates. And, it's not to blame them, but like it just sucked because I only went out there initially because I'm like kind of a leader, not like a like an unofficial captain. So and I was like, come on, guys, let's go out, let's do some drills, let's work out. And so after they got done doing the drills, they were like, oh, can we like play a game? And they're younger guys too, like let's play a game, let's have some fun. I was like, all right, you know what, just to reward you guys for going through my workouts and everything, fine, let's play a little pickup game. So we play a pickup game, and like on the last drive, I catch the ball and I try to like plant down to explode with my left foot. And as soon as I try to explode, like I heard a loud pop. Everybody heard the pop, and that was my Achilles rupturing or tearing. And yeah, man, that's how it went down.
So you had a Deku moment, pretty much.
Exactly. I tried to go full poly, but I was not ready. I was not ready yet.
Man, that sucks though, man. The Achilles, that's terrible because you can't walk, and you need that to stand too, right? That tendon.
Yeah.
So was therapy pretty rough then, just doing that?
Yeah, man. It was tough. It was because I've torn my ACL on my right leg. The Achilles was on my left leg, and so I've torn my ACL a few years. I think when I was like maybe 19 or 20. And that was rough too, but the Achilles was even more difficult than that. So it was definitely a true test. But luckily I've been doing pretty well with the recovery.
Yeah, I honestly don't really know how it feels like to tear like a ligament or a tendon like that. I mean, I've sprained my ankle. That's probably the worst thing I've gotten. Probably had like a shoulder injury from wrestling, but nothing to that extent of pain, because I can't imagine just like, tearing something like that and just not being able to walk. And then, the way how you work out too, you need a lot of explosiveness and you run a lot.
Yeah.
So, oh man, that sucks.
Yeah, no, being explosive and cutting on a dime is kind of like a running back's bread and butter. And so, yeah, it was tough. Surprisingly, the ACL hurt worse though. Like when it like initially happened, with the Achilles, it felt like somebody kicked me really hard. Like I looked around and like I thought somebody like kicked me in the heel really hard. But and apparently a lot of people say that too. When they tear their Achilles, it feels like someone like kicked them in the heel. So it felt like my ankle went numb. So that's what it kind of felt like. So it didn't hurt too much until afterwards when it started swelling up and everything. Then it hurt like a mother. So
so how are you feeling now then? Are you doing pretty good?
Yeah. I'm doing pretty well. Still not 100% yet. These things usually take about, just like an ACL tear, it usually takes about 8 to 12 months for full recovery to go back into your sport. Closer to 12 months, though, full year. And I think I'm like 7, 8 months right now. So I'm getting there. I think by the time May comes around, May will be like the 12-month mark. So I'm getting close.
I guess it's kind of good that, I mean, like the time for you to recover, because 2020 nothing really happened, so you didn't have to really compete.
Yeah.
So you got to use this year to kind of just rest as well. Now, with the workouts you've been doing, I've seen on your Instagram you've been doing like a lot of, is it powerlifting or just more like heavy weightlifting?
Yeah, more just heavy weightlifting, like strength training, and yeah, it was mostly just strength training. I was working out with my one of my good friends, Johnny, and he's a trainer. He's a power lifter, and he's also going to school for training too. I think he's a graduate school right now, over in Wisconsin. And so, I was just kind of working out with him. We got together once my physical therapist gave me the go to like start lifting fairly heavy again. We just started talking. It was like, hey, let's start training a few times a week, and then we hit it like from, I don't know, from like maybe July until like September for a few months, like 5, 6, sometimes even 7 days a week we'd hit it. So we went pretty hard, and I got really strong and pretty big thanks to him.
Yeah, I've seen the before and after photos. Like you've bulked up a lot. Like your body mass is definitely different from the last photo you took, I think last year or something like that, where you were more cut versus now you added a lot more muscle mass.
Yeah, bro, I was looking like All Might, like for real. I was like 200 pounds even.
Oh my God.
Yeah, for someone like I'm only 5'6", so like 200 pounds, I was pretty solid, So shout out to Johnny Yang, a humble beast. So yeah.
Are you planning to shed weight then, once like football starts again, or are you gonna do you plan to keep on that mass?
Yeah, I've actually been because I'm trying to get into amateur boxing in this in the summer. I have been losing weight. I think ever since like September, I've been weaning off kind of more lifting and just doing more boxing workouts. And so I've lost about 20 pounds. I went from 200 pounds, and I weighed myself today. I'm like 183. So I've lost almost 20 pounds since the fall. And yeah, I still have a lot more weight to lose though, because obviously at my height for a fighter, I'm still super heavy. But
yeah, you have to be more like, if anything, I say the heaviest is like 145. If you want to stay light. But yeah, man, how's the diet going then for you? Are you just cutting like portions down, just eating less? How's that working for you?
Yeah, man. Usually, I usually just, whether I'm like bulking or cutting weight, I'll just eat like 4 or 5 meals a day. And since I'm trying to lose weight, obviously, I'll cut the portions down in those 4 to 5 meals. But and I'm like eating less carbs. I'm not totally taking carbs out though, because carbs get a bad rap. Like carbs are not your enemy. You got to use carbs for for energy and to get the most out of your workout. So I'll still eat my carbs, but just kind of checking, because too much of anything is a bad thing. But just checking my carbs and eating smaller portions throughout the day.
So you're going back into boxing, but you are working at a Muay Thai gym.
Yes.
How did you get that job there?
Man, one of the little homies, Alex, I'm Facebook friends with him. He, Alex Tao, he like made a Facebook post saying that there was a opening for a part-time job, and it's a pandemic, everybody needs a little more money. And so I thought, I could, with my school hours, I could work that in there. So I hit him up, and he told me I think he led me to the application or whatever, and then got the interview, and yeah, I got the job.
Man, you made it seem like it was really simple.
I mean, it wasn't too hard. Yeah, I just had to put myself out there and did well in the interview. And yeah, not to brag, but every interview I've gotten, I've always gotten the job. I've never gone to an interview and not gotten the job. So that's a little humble brag. But
yeah, I've done that most of my time. There's only been one time where I went to a job interview and they turned me down because I talked about not being able to work with people, and that was actually a criteria or something that they needed in that job. And I was just like, no, I'm kind of I can do things on my own. I don't depend on anyone. They were just telling me oh yeah, that's fine. We'll talk to you soon. I was like, fuck. I messed up.
That was the one thing that they needed you to do, and you were not willing to do it.
Yeah, it's tough. Especially doing team stuff. That's why, again, with boxing and Muay Thai, I mean, it is a team sport in a sense. But when you go into the ring or to the cage or wherever you're competing at, it's always just a one-on-one thing, and I think that's why I've always liked combat sports. But yeah, man, Muay Thai, where are you working at? You said it was called Warman Muay Thai.
Warman, yep, Warman Muay Thai.
Are they owned by Hmong folks or Thai people?
They are. Yep. This man named Cooley, that's a boss man. He's also a coach in the corner at Warman Muay Thai, and he's been fighting for a while. He's in his mid to late 30s, I believe, but he's had he's kind of a decorated champion, and he's even fought in it's either Glory or Pride. I think you probably know better than me, but which one has more kickboxing? Is it Glory or both of them, or
Glory for sure? But I think he's in his late 30s, and I'd say Glory. Okay. I do watch Glory too. I can't believe I haven't heard of him. But yeah, that's pretty cool because Glory is actually on the rise right now with kickboxing.
Okay.
There's more and more shows in the States, slowly coming up. I know that in Asia, there's also ONE FC, which is a Asian-owned combat company. They do MMA, kickboxing, Muay Thai, like that. And then the old school days, there was K1. Everyone watched that. Brooke was in it, and a lot of European fighters for sure, and a lot of Japanese Muay Thai fighters. But yeah, man, that's pretty cool to be able to work with someone like that, and especially having it as a Hmong owned gym. That's pretty cool. Are you getting lessons for free, or you got to pay for those too?
I had to pay for it, but no, it was cool though, because they actually, because my schedule didn't work out at first, because I did a 1 week pass, and because I had some things going on, I wasn't able to really get the full week, and so they extended it for me. So they were nice enough to do that for me. But yeah, I just took maybe 2 classes, I think, nothing major, but just to kind of, because I'm part of a team now, and I kind of when in Rome, I do what the Romans do, and so even though I affiliate more so with boxing, I just wanted to see what my teammates are all about and just put my feet in the water.
How's it like to throw that first Thai kick?
Oh, I was terrible. I'm still terrible. It's so weird. Not that I didn't have respect for Muay Thai. I mean, I have, incredible respect for all martial arts, but I thought it was going to be at least a little easier. But yeah, because they make it look so, the fighters and the coach, he makes it look so easy. But yeah, no, it's tough, bro. Are you pretty Do you ever throw any Muay Thai kicks?
I wouldn't say my form is exactly Muay Thai. I would get criticized a lot for it because like I do a mix of like because I did Taekwondo and I'm retaking Taekwondo now too.
I saw that.
I kind of snap the kick towards the end, but then I torque my hips as if I'm doing Muay Thai. So it's a really weird form. My teacher at Tiger Chung's martial arts, he was telling me it looks more like a Krav Maga type kick.
Okay.
So because I'm actually heavier now. I'm not exactly the weight where I want to be. So I throw a lot more low kicks. He's trying to get me to throw more body kicks to kind of like not like semi high kicks, like maybe towards like the upper chest area because he knows I can't kick high yet.
Yeah.
But I definitely have the torque for sure because we were kicking the heavy bag and I made that thing move versus everyone else where they were just kicking it and it stood still, and I kicked it the way how I kicked it. I just torqued everything, and my teacher's like, yeah, you got to snap your kick, Ricky. I'm just like, I don't know, man, it doesn't really work like that. I gotta work on my kicking again. But then yeah, man, Muay Thai, like I like Muay Thai just because of the leg kicks though. I don't really go for head kicks. Even when I was like at 150, I never really went for head kicks. I always went for leg kicks or body kicks. Definitely did the teep, just front push kick like right to the solar plex.
Yeah,
I've always played it like that. But yeah, man, Muay Thai is really like it's no joke, man. The way how they just train and condition their legs, it's so crazy. I've seen like some Thai videos where like these young fighters, maybe in their early teens, just training in Thailand, doing miles and miles of running and coming back to the gym, throwing like thousands of kicks every day on the bag. It's wild.
No, it's nuts, man. They go hard. I got all the respect for them and any other martial arts out there.
Have you done any sparring at all? I know.
I guess it was sparring. Like he had me go get some other like noobs in the gym, but like no face shots or anything. So I guess it was considered sparring, yeah. But nothing crazy. It was just super light, and they were
like half speed kind of thing.
Yeah, maybe not even half speed. Like it was just really technical, and which is totally fine by me because I wasn't trying to get kicked in the face or get in the chest or something.
Yeah, I mean, like coming from a boxing background, man, like it is different, especially when where you got different combos coming in versus just like punches and just like moving and weaving and cutting angles. Like when you're dealing with like kickboxers now, you got to check the kick. You got to make sure you're at a certain distance if you want to evade the kick, or if you're quick enough, you do like the senchai style where you just lean back and the kick goes over your face. It's more I guess not. I don't want to say technical, but it's more like it's more of a puzzle now. Versus like boxing, because don't get me wrong, I love boxing too because of the footwork and going in and out, like how kind of like how Tyson does it. But when you're dealing with kicks, man, it's more to add up when you're sparring or even fighting, because now if they take out your legs, you got to worry about that.
Yeah,
just just even getting a clean kick to the liver, man. That shit hurts. So
yeah.
It's a tough sport, man, and I give you props for going back into boxing, man. For me, I can't go back into that kind of gym mentality because I get too aggro, so I had to like calm down and go back to like traditional martial arts.
Yeah, man, it's tough. I was the same way when I was younger, but now that I'm like older, I think I have a little more control now.
Like, I don't know, man. I don't blame the martial art, but I think it's just like that gym mentality, man. Like it's different from like a dojo or a dojan, because like whenever I'm, at least this is just me, but whenever I'm training heavy like that, just being in that environment, hitting the bag and going hard, like it makes me because I get super aggro about it. I just get like super alpha male and like I want to go compete now. I want to go and be champ and shit. Like I get into this really crazy mentality. So now that I'm older, I catch myself doing that. I'm just like, yeah, I can't do that anymore.
Yeah, man, it's like it's a definitely different environment. And I've even noticed like a difference between sparring and like a boxing gym and a Muay Thai gym from what I've seen. At least the Muay Thai gym I go to work at Warman. I feel like Muay Thai martial arts, when they spar, it's usually a lot. I don't say a lot less effort, but like it's just a lot more light. And boxers, they do light sparring too, obviously for technical reasons. But I feel like boxers tend to go a little harder in sparring than Muay Thai martial art, at least from what I've noticed.
Yeah, it's the same. How I see it too, because like in Thailand, they don't even go that hard. They go really light.
Mm-hmm.
If the fighters kind of feel like you're going heavy, then that's when they go hard on you. But I think it's just the difference between cultures, because like here in the West, like a lot of people who spar over here, like in the States, they tend to go pretty rough, even when they go light. Like I've had some experiences with the boxing gym where I sparred with one of the coaches. We were supposed to do just body shots, and it was only my first week there. And then next thing you know, he popped me in the face. I'm like, what the hell, man? Like what kind of shit is this? I thought we were just doing like light sparring. He's like, no, man, you got to get ready for everything. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, boxing is really like I kind of like that school of thought, to be honest. So, I like it. I also heard that another reason why like they spar like more light than boxers do is because they, at least over the people over in at least the Thai martial artists, that they spar a lot less harder, is because they have like so much more fights
Yes,
than boxers do, and so they want to save up their bodies and everything, which makes sense.
I don't know how they do it, man. Like they fight from like the age of like what, 6 or 7 or 8, like as little kid, they can start off that young and build up to like their adulthood having over like 300 plus fights.
Yeah.
Dude, that's insane, man.
That's nuts. I respect it. Yeah, it's crazy.
So, now that you're trying to do this, go for amateur boxing, how has your training been going? I mean, are you, since you're working at the Thai gym, are you finding how are you able to find time to go into, I guess, your boxing routine?
Well, I have a coach, and he's kind of been like a mentor / coach of mine, just like a life mentor / boxing coach of mine for the past few years, because he used to be my neighbor just a few years back, and he lived like literally right next door. But I've been like I was really inconsistent with it. So we just like started talking again, and he wanted me to dedicate like at least just every Monday, because that's all he can do for now. Because he's also in school. I think he's trying to get like his master's or doctorate maybe, but so he can only dedicate Monday. So Mondays I'll go with him and we'll do drills, and we'll spar as well with him, his nephew and his sons, and they're like 14, 15 years old. So I'll do that, and then like Tuesday till Sunday I'll just do my own thing, whether it's on the treadmill, shadow boxing. I've got a slip bag home, and also just set up a heavy bag and speed bag today. So that's kind of more what I've been doing, and then just calisthenics as well, like pull-ups, push-ups, dips, and whatnot.
Cool, man. I think the only thing I have right now is just a teardrop bag set up in my basement. That's all I have. I've been wanting to get a speed, not a speed bag, but a double end bag. I actually like using that a lot. Just practicing like flickering and just practicing my straight jabs and my straight rights and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So have you, I guess, thought about an ideal weight class where you want to cut down to?
Yeah, he told me, my coach, his name's Brandon Folston, but I just call him Mr. Folston out of respect. But he told me that I should be thinking about anywhere from like 135 to 155 at the absolute heaviest. Even 155 seems kind of heavy for some of my height, but yeah. So I think anywhere from there. But he said we'll just have to see once we get there.
I can't picture you at 135, bro. That's way too light.
Yeah, maybe that might be to my advantage though. Maybe I'll have like more power than guys who are just like naturally 135. Because I haven't been 135 since, man, like 6th, 5th grade maybe. Wow, when was the last time you've been 135? It's been
The lightest I've ever cut weight was to like 140. I could have made 135 on the wrestling team, but we had like 2 guys there already, so I didn't cut weight. But I could have made the weight. I don't know, something about like cutting that low kind of freaked me out though, because like I think when I did my was it like the body fat percentage check, the I guess the doctor came in, or the physician came in, and he was just like, yeah, that's the lowest you can cut down to, was exactly 135. And then that kind of freaks me out. So I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna keep eating and stay, at 145 to 150. But that's just like natural though. I didn't even like work out or anything. So I was just working out, just more like cardio and just doing strength training through the grappling for wrestling. But I really wish I did implement more weightlifting though when I was wrestling though, because I think that would have made a huge difference. But my cardio was like through the roof though. Like by the time I was done with my matches, I was still like, I wasn't even breathing heavy. But then what sucked was like I just wasn't strong, so I got bullied a lot on the mat. Yeah, I can't, like, thinking about weight cutting now. Like that's tough for me right now. I am definitely overweight for sure. I'm trying to get down to at least like 220, right? Because like I think right now I'm like, I may not look like it, but I'm actually like 250-ish. So
you don't look like it. I thought you I thought you're already like around like 220 or something.
No, I'm heavier. Like most of my weight is like towards my hips and then like my lower abdomen. That's where most of my weight's at. Which sucks because I have like, it's like a weird body shape.
You're good, man. How tall? I know you're taller than me because I'm only 5'6".
I'm like 5'8", just a little over 5'8". Yeah. So plus like I try to at least stand up like straight as much as I can so I can look a little bit taller. Though I don't look like I'm like, because I'm trying not to slouch too much either. So I try to like stand up straight when I walk, and that way it doesn't make me look like I'm too big. But I wear like baggy clothes anyway, so it doesn't even matter. But yeah, man. So the boxing training you're doing, is the coach that you had, you said he was your neighbor, but is it just like a next door train, like a house training kind of thing, or are you actually training in a gym?
No, yeah, it's just at his garage. He has a heavy bag. He also has a speed bag, mitts. And then, like I said, I'll spar with him, his son, and his nephew. And he was like a legit boxer too. He could have gone pro. He was a very good amateur boxer. He's also trained other boxers at this gym here in Minneapolis, Minnesota, called Circle Discipline. And so he's trained. And he's trained one of his sons too. So yeah, he's legit. He's an amazing boxer.
That's pretty cool, man. Just to excuse me, just to know someone as a neighbor like that. That's such an advantage to just get into the sport. And I don't know how are you paying him like as if it's like a gym fee, or is it how's that working?
No, luckily he just does it like from the bottom of his heart. He just he's kind of like a mentor of mine too. So yeah, he just does it for free. And I'll get him like I think that I get the only thing I do to pay him back is like I'll come around with like maybe some Gatorade bottles for us while we work out. Or he's like a huge Muhammad Ali fan, like many boxers are. So I bought him like these brand new like Muhammad Ali boxing gloves, and they're really dope. And so those are kind of the ways I'll pay him back, but nothing like no cash or any compensation.
Monthly gym payments and
which is really nice. Yeah,
no, that's dope, man. I wish I had that kind of advantage because I mean, like the gyms I've been to, I don't pay too much either, but like just to know someone like that, and then to even just see them growing up and living next door to someone, that's a great advantage for getting into the sport like that. Have you considered, I guess, doing any of that Kimbo Slice stuff? Just recording your sparring matches, or even, I guess, challenging people, because apparently that's the thing right now, man. Or at least from what I've seen on my YouTube algorithm. Like, have you heard of like street beefs?
Street beefs.
Yeah. Oh man, that's a YouTube channel where people just like do backyard fighting. It's crazy.
Is it like bare knuckle? Do they like? What type of gloves? Is it bare knuckle? Is it they put hand wraps? Like what?
I haven't seen any bare knuckle fighting, but they do like backyard boxing matches and
Okay,
backyard MMA matches.
they have actual boxing gloves in.
Um, I don't know. From what I've seen, it looks like they just use heavy bag gloves, which I think it's a little bit more dangerous than using real gloves.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But yeah, it's. I think they got quite a they got I think maybe over 1 million subscribers on their channel. But it's I think they're based in Florida, which is not surprising.
Yeah.
They just do like backyard boxing and backyard MMA matches. I don't know how I found this channel. I think like they have like ridiculous matchups. Like they'll have like they had this one guy in a wheelchair box another guy that willingly sat in a wheelchair. Like it was they wanted to do it to help like the guy, I guess, feel normal again because he was like a vet or something like that.
Oh, okay.
So he's a paraplegic, and then the guy that he fought willingly sat and strapped his legs down in a wheelchair too, and they just went like toe to toe next to each other and just started swinging at each other. It's crazy.
Oh, that's pretty dope. Yeah, man. That's I would never. No, yeah, I would never do that. If I'm gonna fight, like it has to be like a sanctioned fight. And plus, it's kind of as weird as it sounds. It's kind of more dangerous to. And maybe you might agree or disagree, but I think it's even more dangerous to fight people who aren't trained, because if I'm fighting someone who I know is like an amateur boxer, you know, who has like actual experience, like I can kind of see, depending on their experience level, I mean, if they're like way better than me, but like I can kind of see like punches being thrown, like, okay, I know he's going to throw a jab and it's going to go straight down the line. Like he's probably going to throw a 1-2, you know, I can like maybe parry the jab and slip the right hand or whatever. But when you're fighting someone who has no experience, like you don't know what they're gonna throw and like what angle they're gonna like. You can't predict it at all, and so like that's another big reason why I wouldn't want to fight in something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. From my experience, it was pretty tough. Like I didn't do too much of that backyard shit, but then I have like one video on my YouTube channel which we will actually watch later on in the podcast. So for anyone who's listening to this on audio, definitely tune into the video portion and to watch that. But yeah, like I had some backyard videos recorded. That just sounded dirty coming out of my mouth, but like I had like some backyard matches recorded like years and years ago, but then they got deleted and I only was able to save like 1 or 2. But yeah, to spar with someone who has no boxing or no martial arts training, really, it is tough, because not only can you not gauge where they're coming from, it's if they don't know how to spar, they might go all out within that first couple punches. So that's something I was always kind of afraid of when it came to sparring with people who didn't know how to spar, and especially if they're not like calm or collected. So like, let's say if you just pop them with the jab and they either walked into it or, you know, it just it happens in sparring. Someone's gonna get popped. They might get mad and like take off the gloves. Like, let's go, bro. Like I'm about to do this right now. So I never like that either.
Yeah, no, they might try to wrestle you or something, or I mean, I guess you don't have to worry about it because you have a wrestling background. But my ground game is trash, so
I think you should be okay. I mean, with how strong you are, shit, fucking bulky.
Yeah, I guess maybe that would be someone who has no ground game. I guess that would help a little bit. But yeah, no, I totally agree, man. People, it's an ego thing for sure. No one likes getting hit in the face, and they feel like they gotta get payback or something. But
yeah, I mean, like sparring in general. I mean, it's all about just how you guys, or I guess who you and your partner, how you guys, engage, because it's always gonna build up. It's like a roller coaster. It's gonna build up with tension, and then it's gonna drop back down, build back up, and but then if you play that kind of game with someone who's like, I'm gonna get you back, forget me, kind of thing, I wouldn't spar with that person either.
Yeah, no, yeah, I like to just do light technical sparring. That's kind of more of my thing. I mean, it's kind of fun to like have a little wars sometimes for like the conditioning aspect a little bit, but yeah, other than that, I kind of just like technical light sparring.
Let's see here. So now that we talked about amateur boxing, there's also excuse me, we brought up a little bit of bare knuckle boxing. Have you seen those sanctioned bare knuckle fights?
I think I saw one with the former boxing champion Polly. I can't say his last name, but Polly Molly. I'm gonna murder his last name. You know what I'm talking about?
No, I actually don't.
Ah, damn. He sparred with Conor McGregor leading up to the Mayweather fight.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah,
Yeah, him. His name's Polly. He was actually pretty decent champion, but yeah, he had like a bare knuckle fight against some other boxer, I think. But yeah, that's the only one I saw. Why? What's up?
Just wondering what your thoughts on it, because I've only followed it because of MMA fighters going into bare knuckle boxing. It's definitely different, and you know their hands are wrapped, but it's not like fully wrapped. It's just like wrapped enough to where their thumb is wrapped, so their knuckles in the front here are still exposed.
Yeah,
there's definitely you can do like dirty boxing and clinch work. Like you can't full clinch, but you can do like a half clinch or have one arm on their neck. You can do that. But yeah, man, because that sport right now, it's slowly coming up. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's because of Joe Rogan too, because he was talking about that on his podcast, on several episodes about bare knuckle boxing, and a lot of fighters are just transitioning into that. You know, one of the female fighters that I followed, I don't know if you know who she is, but Paige Vanzant. She had a UFC run, and she lost her last fight on her contract. And then now she wants to do bare knuckle boxing. I don't know if she's already had her fight or not, but she wants to do bare knuckle boxing. And I don't know, man, something about that sport, it just seems way more dangerous, because not only are you not really covered up, it's so much easier to get cut in that kind of sport.
Yeah,
like this one UFC vet, Chris Lieben. He was. I don't know if he's doing well or not in that company, but you know he's a vet coming from like all those just facial tissue scars and just cuts and stuff like that. And one of his fights he had in bare knuckle boxing, he was just like split open so easily. I think they do like 2-minute rounds. I think like 2-minute or 5 2-minute rounds or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's definitely catching on. So I don't know if you were watching that or not.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of good on like watching all that bloody mess. And this is just my personal opinion. I could be totally wrong, but I feel like once you have the gloves off and things get that messy, I feel like you can start to kind of start to lose like the sweet science of it a little bit. I feel like it gets like less technical, and I enjoy watching like the technical side of boxing and everything. So, you know, it starts to become like just more of like just an all out brawl. I feel like once things get bloody. So, I don't think I would enjoy watching it all too much, and I would never do it myself.
Yeah, I don't think I could either. I don't, because I've been fortunate to not get cut like that in a boxing match. I can't imagine just getting cut like that. So, but man, it's terrible, and just like how easily you can just get cut with no gloves off, and but then like minutes, your cut's gonna get exposed and you're gonna bleed more, and then it just adds up more throughout the round. So I don't know how these fighters just do it like that, man. I give them so much props for just even doing that kind of contact sport. But yeah, man, I think it's just something different, man, because everything is about MMA right now, and boxing still trying to do their crazy stunts with their fights. I mean, like we said, they got Jake Paul on TV now, and then Logan Paul is going to fight Mayweather. Like it's crazy. What are your thoughts on that, man? Mayweather and Logan Paul. Since I brought that up,
Mayweather and Logan Paul. Some people were kind of like mad at Mayweather, saying like, "Oh, you're giving this guy a chance to fight, and he doesn't deserve it." But I'm all for Mayweather. I feel like Mayweather has done everything possible in the boxing realm, and if he wants to get more money, get a little fight and get more money, I'm like totally for it. If he wants to have fun and do that, yeah, he deserves to do whatever the hell he wants, really. I that's how I feel. But how do you feel about it?
I honestly, I don't really feel anything really. It's just like I kind of just once they announced that, I was like, I can see why he's doing that. Like it's not a big deal to me. I mean, I'm not a big fan of either Paul brothers. I think they're definitely irritating as people.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But yeah, man, I just think that Mayweather's just making moves. Mean, Money Mayweather, man. Like you can't blame him for doing something like that. It's just if he's willing to fight someone like McGregor, and not care, I mean, he's definitely not going to care about fighting someone like Logan Paul.
And he fought that Japanese dude too. I mean, he's an actual martial artist, but yeah, he even fought that Japanese dude, right?
Yeah, but he was like I think in his early 20s still. I mean, he was a young champ, but like to box a kickboxer in Japan, I'm just like, I think they just gave it to Mayweather, man. They just like, the kid's still young. He doesn't really have much to lose. If anything, he was in a win-win because he got to fight Mayweather, and they're like, if he loses, then you lost to the greatest, and if you win, you beat the greatest. Like, there's nothing you can lose right there.
You still get paid out, and he was like super tiny too. Like, because Mayweather's not a big dude, and he even
Mayweather looked bigger than him.
Yeah, Mayweather looked like big compared to him. So there was definitely a size difference, but yeah, Mayweather, do your thing. If I was in this same situation, I would do the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, he's like you said, he's got nothing left to prove. I mean, what he's gonna do, like rematch Pac-Man again, or fight someone up and coming? Like he's too smart for that. He's not gonna risk it just to lose. I mean, he's got a clean record right now, undefeated, and he's gonna want to stay that way.
Yeah, I want to see Jake Paul. I don't even want to see him fight McGregor. I want to see him fight Nate Diaz. I know they've been going at it on Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I would like stylistically, I don't know who would be worse to fight them. I mean, because like Jake Paul, the way how he fights is, you can tell like he's very amateurish because he leads in and he jumps back out. It's not like where he comes in and throws combos and stays in the pocket. He'll just come in, throw like the overhand right, come back out. Yeah. So, with that kind of style, I think McGregor, like if it's just him fighting McGregor, I think that's more dangerous than him fighting Diaz. I mean, Diaz is gonna bring the fight to him. So I mean, either way, he's screwed. But I think with his style, McGregor has a better chance of just popping him with one shot and it's over.
Yeah.
With Diaz will bring the fight to him, trap him in the corner, throw body punches, go to the top, and he can't defend himself. So I wouldn't fight either. I've sparred with guys who are like both those styles before, and me personally, I don't like sparring with the guy who can come in and still charge at you when you hit him with everything you had. That's scary, man. Like I sparred this one kid. He was like a Golden Gloves contender here in Michigan. I forgot his name already, but I only sparred with him once. But he was like that tanky kind of stylistic fighter where I was coming in. I already knew his credentials, so I didn't want to go like too heavy with them. Right. So I just kind of threw some jabs out there, threw some body hooks, and then by the time I knew it, he was already walking me down to the corner, and he just. He was like, he had his hands up. He's like, just hit me. I was like, why? He goes, just do it. I want to see how hard you hit. I was like, okay. So I hit him with everything I had. Dude didn't budge. I was like, shit, I'm done, man.
Man, you were boxing Jer in the gray.
For real. It was like, I don't know, man. Something about like fighting guys like that who just charge at you with no remorse, or like they're not afraid to get hit. To hit you back. I can't fight guys like that. That already scares me.
Yeah, it does something to your morale for sure.
I mean, like sparring with a guy like a McGregor style or like Mayweather style, where they're more technical. Like I sparred this one guy from like he was a bartender in Michigan. Oh. His name was like Matt. Pretty tall guy. He was like 5'11", pretty lanky. Kind of like a long range fighter.
Yeah, but
he was nice, but he definitely cut angles so good, and his footwork was phenomenal. So I like right after I was done sparring with him, I was like, dude, how do you get your feet like that, man? Because he was just going in and out, cutting angles, and I could not catch him. I'm just like, what the hell? He didn't even move his head. His feet did all the work for him.
Yeah.
So I was like, what the hell, man? Like I look so sloppy sparring with this guy.
No, I feel like that's the same way how I feel when I like box my coach. It's frustrating to say the least.
Let me take a look at some of these comments. I know they've been kind of adding up here. So we got Terry Alexander says, "Hey, sup Terry? I don't know if you're still watching, but thank you for tuning in. I met Terry at Otaku Detroit. He's one of the guys there. Let's see, Bass Brothers at Van Brooks. Maybe you might know who he is.
Yeah, that's my homie. Yeah, I've known him since I don't know, like 10 years.
And then we have let's see, Alex says, Van Brooks, do you plan on getting back into comedy, or is that done?
Man, yeah, for the foreseeable future, man, I think comedy's done, man. I think I'm kind of just evolving, and as much as I appreciated like the comedic content and people gravitating towards it, I think if anything, I might venture more into like fitness related content. Yeah, that might be a thing. But as far as comedy, I don't think I'll because my comedy too was pretty. Some of it was like pretty raunchy. And so like, just with, jobs and, getting into careers and everything, I might want to watch out for that.
I mean, like, you're dealing with students too. They're gonna be like, yeah, Van Brooks has, this kind of video on his Facebook.
Yeah, so I kind of got to watch out. But I mean, I guess I could make it like less raunchy, but then I feel like I'm kind of getting away from my true self, so if I want to do it, I want to be myself. But so there's that. So yeah, I don't think I'm gonna get back to anything more fitness related content. Yeah, because a lot of people are always asking me, especially like the younger Hmong flag football players. They see me work in my videos, and they're always asking like, "Oh, how can I get fast like you?" Or "How can I get, biceps like you?" and everything like that. So yeah, I think fitness is more the direction I'm headed, if anything.
I mean, I guess you could tell them it's genetics, man, because like, didn't you have a picture of like you and your dad side by side?
Yeah, yeah, he was a former bodybuilder. He won 2 state championships. I think when he was 17 and then 19. But he had to work his butt off. He was like super tapped in, like that's all he ever did was just school and in the weight room. So that's kind of where I got it from.
Yeah, so Hmong folks out there, you got to have genetics, man. That's the honest truth. Not a lot of Hmong cats out there can get like physically that big. I mean, unless you like really work hard at it. But genetics plays a huge part.
It does play a big part. But the even bigger part though is the work ethic. I like to think because you can have all the genetics in the world, but if you don't put the work in, then you're not going to get swole. And so luckily, I've been blessed with my pop's genetics, and then also I work my ass off in the weight room.
So yeah, man, just kind of going back to the whole boxing. There was like one topic I wanted to bring up before we looked at the questions, but stylistically, we were talking about like fighting styles and like rangy, like lanky, rangy fighters or like tanky kind of fighters. What would you say your boxing style is, man? Are you more on the technical side, or do you like brawling?
I'm more defensive oriented. Yeah, and it's funny too because I still haven't been consistent enough to find like my true signature or style yet. But I've noticed that I've been more like defensive focused. My coach has even told me that too. But yeah, and those are even the boxers I enjoy watching as well.
So kind of like Ali, kind of just like rope-a-dope and just staying in the back.
Yeah, Ali, yeah, that's always good. Yeah, and he's like the biggest hero of all time too. So
yeah, I think for me, I was never able to really find a specific style because doing the whole MMA training and then doing like being just mixed into so many different arts, I kind of just got used to just adapting to whoever I'm sparring or I guess competing with. So like if I know like the guy's more defensive, I'm going to go in and be more aggressive. And if the other guy's more aggressive, then I'm just going to try to just stay back and be more defensive. But it's funny because if I'm just doing the one sport, or for example, like boxing, I'm a terrible defensive boxer. I can't play defense. I'm just gonna go ahead in whether the guy's much stronger or bigger than I have to stay in the pocket because that's where I feel more comfortable at. And plus, like I don't have long arms, so I can't even I can't out jab a guy. I have to go in. But like if we were doing kickboxing, then I would keep him at bay. I would throw leg kicks, I'll throw body kicks, and then come in with a straight right or something. It's weird. So like just adapting to different training methods in different gyms, man. It was tough.
Yeah.
Even now when I'm doing taekwondo, like I'm still doing like MMA kind of training.
Yeah, it sounds like as far as boxing goes, you kind of sound like you like kind of a more Mexican style boxing. I know Mexican boxers are more prone to being like brawlers and staying in the pocket.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what excuse me, I don't know what it is exactly why I like boxing in the pocket. Like I'm not good at it either. Like I'm terrible because I'm more to, like I said, I have terrible defense, so I'm more likely to get knocked out in a brawl or like in just trading punches. But I'm not scared to do it. That's the thing. So like I had this one Hmong friend in high school that I used to train with, and he was so good at flickering, and so the only way I can get in was to just like just barge in.
Sure.
and so I think I just got used to doing that because I would, every guy that I fight or spar with, they most likely have like longer arms than I do.
Yeah.
Even if they're like, it's weird when I box guys who are shorter than me and they have longer arms than me. It's really weird because like it's more like they're coming up now. I'm like, I don't know how to defend against that. It's such a weird angle.
Yeah.
That sounds like, yeah. It just. Oh, does that like just come up and like kind of go low and then go up more, or how do you fight tall? How do you do it?
Me, man, I kind of. Well, I'm sorry. What was the question again?
I'm just saying, like you said that you have longer arms, right, for being someone who's on the shorter side. So, like for me, when I spar guys like that, I kind of just tend to fight a little bit taller, but I don't go too low. So when I'm versing guys who have longer arms than me, that are shorter, like their punches come up more, and it's just a weird angle for me because it's coming up, but then they have longer arms, so they're making contact with me before I even come in.
Yeah,
it's frustrating.
Yeah, no, I know.
So I mean, for you though, I mean, how do you tend to, I guess, spar more? Or do you kind of stay low then since you're more defensive, or do you stand up more straight?
I try to tend to stay more lower and then use my jab. I feel like I have a decent flicker with my jab. I feel like my jab is decent, so I like to use that.
Yeah, I'm terrible at it. I can't. I don't have to. I think for me, because I have like very little patience and I get really angsty. So I think that's like a huge downfall for my, I guess, for my style as well. I'm more like I see how I am too when I'm playing like video games and stuff. I get more like like super hack and slash kind of thing, like button mashing. But I think I kind of like see that when I'm sparring too. I have like that kind of mentality where I just go in there and risk it, you know.
And the haymakers.
If you like podcasts like me and want to start your own, use Buzzsprout. Buzzsprout is a very effective and easy way to begin your podcasting journey. With easy-to-use tools, Buzzsprout can help you get your podcast to major podcasting platforms like Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more. You can view stats, create audio clips, and even have your own podcasting website. Buzzsprout has helped hundreds of thousands of people to begin their own podcasts like myself, and you can find ideas, tips, tricks, video tutorials to better your own podcast. Follow the link in the description to start your own podcast today. And once you sign up, you'll get a $20 Amazon gift card. This lets Buzzsprout know that I sent you, and this also helps support Spoiler Force Podcast. Happy podcasting. Do you struggle with eating junk food and late night snacking? Well, I've been using FNX Sports Rebalance Super Greens, and I've been able to control my eating habits, get my daily vitamins, fiber, and loose fat around my stomach area. The Rebalance Super Greens comes in multiple flavors and is easy to use by just mixing the supplement and water. You can drink this anytime during the day and feel energized without any groggy after effects. Use the code SPOILERFORCE, all one word, SPOILERFORCE, and get 15% off your very first order. But yeah, man, I mean, we've been talking about like sports and stuff for a while now. And, you know, I mean, besides sports, that I know you're also, again, a big anime fan as well. You know, the last episode we did together, we talked about the My Hero Heroes Rising movie. Were you able to get that on Blu-ray?
I did, bro. I did. I watched it. I watched it a few times, and I watched it with some of my people because they didn't see it yet. And I kept on telling him like this is the best, at least in my opinion. I told him this is the best shonen movie you'll ever see, and they agreed it was the best shonen movie they've ever seen.
Yeah, man. Excuse me. I was like so hyped. When we talked about it last time, before I get into what I was going to say, like when we talked about it last time, we kind of just guessed it, like around August, September when it was going to drop, and it actually was around that time when the movie dropped on Blu-ray and DVD. So, I just thought that was pretty coincidental that we were just talking about it back in March. Yeah, man, movies like that, man. They don't premiere as long in the States, but man, the wait time for that just to drop on Blu-ray and DVD is like forever, man.
Bro, I swear. Yeah, it took a while. And then now I hear the Demon Slayer. I see like links, like bootleg links for the Demon Slayer movie, but I'm not gonna watch that though. I'm like really selective with my bootleg links. They either have to be like super HD or I won't watch it.
Yeah, the one I watched, it was okay. It was watchable. It wasn't terrible, but I mean, if anything, the subtitles were good, which I liked. So, because there's this one bootleg version where the subtitles are just way off, and it turned to a freaking comedy after that. Like, so the one I watched, the subtitles were pretty good. So, so if anyone's interested, I can share you the link, but that's kind of illegal. So, I don't know. Hopefully, it's still up after this episode. But have you watched Demon Slayer all the way through already then?
Yeah, I did. I think during quarantine, during my hiatus, I watched it, and yeah, it was good. I think it's I think like Gen Z people kind of like overhyped it a little bit. They're like, it's the greatest anime ever. Like it's good, but it's not like, I wouldn't say it's the greatest anime ever, but I mean, I guess that's their opinion. I guess they're younger and new to anime, but yeah, no, I really enjoyed it.
I was one of those people.
Oh, really? Really? It's the greatest anime ever, you think?
I mean, okay, well, not greatest anime ever, but I was hyping it to my folks too, and I was just like, it's so good, you gotta watch it, man. It's I was just hyping it up.
It's like your top. Would you put it in like your top 5 all time?
Yeah,
top 5. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because I finished the manga too, so
okay.
I have an advantage with the story, so I'm not going to spoil anything just yet. But yeah, I mean, the manga is phenomenal. I mean, the story wise, I think it's one of the greatest because it doesn't. I guess for me, how I interpreted it, it wasn't like I mean, it is shonen, but it didn't have like that Goku Midoriya kind of character, power of friendship kind of thing, and just like being a hero and doing things for justice kind of thing. I saw it as more of as a family oriented kind of manga or anime. You seeing Tanjiro going through hell and back to save his sister, and I mean, yes, he does fight for the right cause, but when it comes down to it, he's just trying to save his sister.
Yeah, if you or your sister, he's gonna kill you. Like, there's no anything about it.
And throughout the manga, there's tons of like family, kind of family themed stories. So I think for me, I think it just really struck a chord with me because for me, I come from a very small family, and so with that kind of story, it just was that it was just that good to me. I mean, like, don't get me wrong, like My Hero is great too. I mean, right now in the manga for My Hero, it is insane, which I don't know why you have not read the manga yet, man, because like the arc right now, bro, dude, the My Hero arc right now, it's so good because they're practically at the point where it could either be a My Hero Shippuden kind of thing going on, or they could pretty much end it at some point.
Shoot, man, me and manga, bro, I haven't read manga since like middle school, and that was like the Android saga of Z. But like, it's the fight scenes for me. Like, I want to see the fight scenes animated. I don't want to like read the fight scenes.
Have you seen that meme? It was like Krillin and Gohan like imagining the fights in their head.
Oh yeah.
Like that's how manga readers watch fights.
Exactly, yeah, bro. Like when people say, "Oh, the fight scenes are way better in manga," I'm like, how? How is that possible? They had like a whole multi-million dollars like studio, putting work into these fights. Like, how is manga fight scenes better than the anime fight scenes? I don't get that.
Well, I can say this. I think for manga, it's more straight to the point. So it's not like, I guess an example I can use is the Naruto versus Pain fight. It was definitely more direct with their actions. In the anime version, Pain is flying all over the place and doing all these skills and jutsus. But in the manga, it was just like point A to point B to point C. It was just panel after panel, so it was more direct. And I can see why people like prefer manga fights. I mean, you're definitely seeing how the fight is going to unfold first. But I mean, it really just depends on the studio, man. Because when you compare it to like One Punch Man or Studio Bones that does My Hero in season 1 of One Punch Man, or like Ufotable that does Demon Slayer, those fight scenes are off the charts compared to the manga, man. Because when I'm reading the Demon Slayer fights and then watching the fight scenes in the latest movie, dude, I was blown away. It was so much better in the movie or like in the anime. I mean, like it really just depends on the studio, because like Ufotable that does Demon Slayer, they have a huge budget when it comes to their animes. They do like Fate Zero or something like that. I haven't watched that, but I know their animation's really top notch.
I've heard that too.
So, now that we're on this anime talk here, there was one thing I wanted to ask you, man, because not only are you, again, you're a big anime fan, but you're also a student teacher, and you've made some posts on your Facebook that, anime connected you with your students and whatnot. I guess, has there been any students that asked you for your, I guess, top picks for anime? And if not, what are your top picks for anime? Like, if you were going to recommend anime to someone who's never watched it.
Yeah, they've asked me what are my best, like what are my like top 3 or like top 4 anime. They'll ask me those questions, and I always tell them and just anybody that my top 2 favorite anime, and I know one of them you haven't watched yet, is Hunter x Hunter and Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. Those are my top 2 all time. If it's like a top 5, number 3 to 5 is like interchangeable, but I'll always go Hunter x Hunter and Brotherhood for my top 2.
Good, those are good picks. Fullmetal Alchemist for sure, because they got a crazy ass storyline. It's more than just the alchemy and all the magic stuff, but the story between Edward and his brother, man, it's so phenomenal. But I guess for me, what was that?
Oh, yeah, so no, I was just saying, like, yeah, they hit everything on that anime.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I had to go back and rewatch it because I don't really recall too much of it. I've only watched the series like once or twice, maybe not even twice. Okay. But I definitely need to go back and rewatch it. But I think for me, if I was to recommend anime to someone who's never watched it, for me, my number 1 pick is always going to be Naruto. Naruto's my go-to. And I think, if I'm going to be biased, then I'd say Demon Slayer for number 2. But it just switches up, like you said, from My Hero to Demon Slayer to even like Dragon Ball, like the original Dragon Ball series. It switches up. But for me, number 1 is definitely always going to be Naruto.
Naruto, yeah. I think, you can't go wrong with Naruto. Because I was even thinking about like Brotherhood and Hunter x Hunter. And like, I think it might be a little too much maybe for first time anime watchers. So yeah, I'd probably go Naruto too, to be honest.
I think with Naruto, I mean, it's not too crazy with the storyline. It's pretty straightforward until they get to the fillers. But yeah, I think it's more you can relate to the characters more than just like giving someone like Dragon Ball Z off the bat. You know, like Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Z is definitely for people who's watched the show before or like growing up watching it on TV. You know, it's not something where you can just like watch and go, here you go. Oh yeah, I'm just gonna watch Dragon Ball Z for the first time. I think it's different when you're watching it live on TV versus watching it at home on like a DVD or something.
Yeah, you know, you definitely can't dive into that. That's a whole thing.
So, you know, your students there was one post that you made but with your students, and I think what was it, the Zabuza?
Yeah.
How did that go about? Like what was it? Your students just asking about like your favorite ninja or something, or?
No, well, it was because he had to make a PowerPoint based off of vocabulary words of the week, and he said that he always refuses to do work unless I related to anime somehow. And so this week's vocabs were like talking about like condensation or evaporation. And so like, just as an example on that post, I said, well, evaporation, you know, you can just type in the word evaporation on the header and then put the definition down. And then you can put a picture of Zabuza because he uses his hidden mist technique. And, you know, it kind of correlates with evaporation because it's like when water turns into vapor or mist or something like that. I should know this off the top of my head, but and so like, you know, Zabuza, he uses the hidden mist technique, and mist is pretty much vapor. And so, you know, just kind of getting him back on to schoolwork with using anime references like that. And we even had to use like a PowerPoint of, I think it was like ecosystems, and he used the One Piece ecosystem, like the ocean, and talking about like the animals and like the admirals and different like people in One Piece. So yeah, it's pretty cool. It's fun working with him.
Is that the same student you did the cosplay with then? Like I know you did the Aizawa cosplay.
Oh yeah, no, that's a different same class with different student. They were like, oh, I'll only catch up on my work if like you cosplay with me on Friday, and then I was like, all right, I'll cosplay. And they really loved My Hero too, so it was perfect. They I think they cosplay as Shigaraki. Yeah, Shigaraki, and then I was just Eraserhead, so it was a fun time.
Oh man, I'm telling you to read the manga, bro, because right now, you know how like in season 1, how Shigaraki is like, you're so cool, Aizawa. That kind of comes back right now towards like in the manga where I'm reading it. Like not right now, but like a few chapters before, where they do end up meeting again. And yeah, dude, that's a pretty dope scene, or at least panel in the manga where Shigaraki and Aizawa meet again.
Man, that sounds like a really epic fight.
Well, they don't really get into it. I can say this, but like when they meet again, though, it's a totally different, I guess, event or because like they at this point from season 1 to the manga right now, like there's so much growth for these characters, and Shigaraki is pretty much like the Midoriya of the villains. So seeing his growth as a villain and then seeing him confront Eraserhead again, it had like totally different vibes to it.
Okay. Man, that part's probably not going to be until like season 7 of the anime, huh?
I don't know, maybe further, because season 5, I don't know if you saw on Facebook, but season 5 got announced for March, and that's going to be Class A and Class B. So that's, I think, and that's probably going to be the first season or the first half of the season, and I think the second half will probably be the My Villain Academia arc, where they go into the villains' backstories and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think that's how it goes. They might not. You never know. They might switch it up, but
yeah.
But right now, the arc right now that they're focusing on or working on is going to be the Class A versus Class B, and I'm excited for it because I want to see. They have Shinso back in the group, the guy with the quirk who can talk to you.
Yeah.
Mackie Freeze. Yeah, he's back. Excuse me. He's back in the in season 5, so I can't wait to see him. I guess being animated and competing with the other students.
Yeah, Class B got some cold people.
Yeah, Class B, like they got some pretty good students. I really wish they focused more on some of their students too, because some of the students in there have really cool quirks. I mean, one of my favorites is Monoma, the guy who can copy your quirk by touching you.
Oh yeah.
They pretty much turned into a comedic relief, but his quirk is pretty dope. And then
He's like Rogue.
yeah. I wish they could like focus more on students like him, but they're just, the way how they put it as is just they're Class B. They're the other students. They're below Class 1A. But I got to ask you this now, man. You said you haven't watched Your Name or Weathering with You yet? That kind of rom-com type of anime, or at least movies. Have you watched it yet, or still haven't seen it?
No, I have not seen it. I have not. I'm so sorry. I heard it. I mean, I don't doubt that it's great. Like I'm sure it is, but you know what? Maybe during winter break, when I have winter break, the students have school off. Maybe I might just find some time to, get a cup of hot cocoa and watch it.
If anything, you gotta watch Your Name at least. Weathering with You. Weathering with You is good, but then like it's more for like the fans who are more into Makoto. I think that's his name, Makoto Shinkai. Like they're more into his work. But Your Name is definitely a must-see anime movie. I would recommend it. And for me, when I first watched that movie, I was not expecting it to be as good as it was, and it just blew me away. So I recommend I recommend that movie to everyone who's never seen it. But oh, go ahead.
That was on Netflix, right? Or no?
No, the one on Netflix. I don't know which one was on Netflix. I know there's a Silent Voice on Netflix.
Oh, that's what I was thinking about. Yeah, never mind.
I mean that one I didn't really like that one, but some people like it, so whatever. Yeah. Excuse me. I was going to ask you, are you into that genre of anime? I know you watch a lot of shonen, but have you tapped into any of that rom-com stuff at all?
Yeah.
Or like slice of life kind of anime?
Slice of life. Shuffle and Clanted.
Okay. Is that the only one?
Yeah. Shuffle, Clanted, and I think those were the only two. Yeah, I can't really get down. If I'm gonna like get in this like rom-com, I might as well just play a visual novel, a dating sim, which is what I've been doing a lot. I've been getting into visual novels and dating sims. I don't even like date girls in real life anymore. Like if I need like some affection or interaction with women, I'm playing my visual novels.
It's so crazy, right? With how much anime has, I guess, progressed in today's society. With like you said, with what's that, novels and interactions and stuff like that. There's even like the virtual YouTubers. They're like they kind of like I've never. One of the previous guests I had on my podcast messaged me on Instagram. He's like, "Yo, you got to get a virtual YouTuber on your podcast." I'm like, "What the hell is that?" And he's like, he sent me the link, and it's pretty much people doing like the virtual, virtual podcasting, but like, I guess your avatar is like an anime character, and you can change your voice.
Yeah.
And I never heard of it before. I'm just like, dude, anime has gone to this point where people are dressing up as anime characters and just podcasting now. It's so wild.
Yeah, no, I do know there was one. She was featured on Nux Taku.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did a like collaboration video with one of them. She was like this girl, but yeah, her stuff was pretty interesting. Yeah, do you follow any virtual YouTubers, or have you seen any videos?
I've seen one podcast. I forgot what their group was called, but they had a virtual YouTuber on, and they just talked about like what they do. I guess it's just normal Q&A kind of thing. Excuse me, but it's just weird. Because, at least for me, it's just weird because people are just kind of like accepting that. It's like, oh yeah, I watched this, virtual YouTuber, and it could be like a dude that's portraying a girl, or vice versa. It's really weird. Yeah, like a dude like me being a lolly or like that. It's weird.
As a content creator and as a podcaster, do you have a little less respect for people? Like, do you think that's like an easier, I don't know, like
a cop out kind of thing?
Yeah, like you're not as like serious about the craft, really. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, I don't disrespect the craft, but for me, I just feel like it's an easier way to. It's almost like in a sense where then again, this is just my opinion. So anyone who's listening, don't get upset at Van, or don't get offended. Just get upset at me. But I just feel like it's an easy way out. It's kind of like a cop out, but I don't disrespect the craft. It's kind of like how, again, I hate using them as an example, but like how the Paul brothers use their clout. They do stupid shit to get clout. So I think being a virtual YouTuber, it's an easy way to, I guess, draw attention. You don't have to use your face, or you don't have to really be yourself to draw in that kind of fan base. I feel like, I feel old when I talk about it like this, because like I watch guys like Kev on stage and like those comedians and all that. Like they're practically just them, and they can draw in a fan base like that. So I see no reason to, or I guess I don't think anyone should just hide behind a facade like that, and because imagine if you meet them in person and they're nothing like their character or something, I mean, because they're not really actors either. They're just hiding behind a mask.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's definitely interesting times we live in for sure.
Yeah, but that stuff it really threw me off. Like when I first saw when I first just watched the virtual YouTubers, I was just like, I don't know, like kids are into this, so it's like, I guess you could say it's like that next TikTok or whatever. Kids are gonna be doing this on streams and all that stuff anyway. So let's see here. I'm gonna take a look at my list here. I know that you wanted to do when we spoke, I guess a couple of weeks ago, you were talking about like doing a podcast yourself. Is that something that you're still trying to do?
Yeah, it's funny because the guy who commented Bass Brothers, and you asked me if I knew him, that was the guy, my homie that I was supposed to do it with, and we were just going to talk about like Hmong flag football, which would have been dope because there's really no one who does that to my knowledge. But yeah, it's just I guess we both just have different priorities as of right now, so maybe later down the road in life, maybe. But yeah, for now we just had to unfortunately take a long rain check on that.
Have you thought about like I guess just doing it solo, or you're just gonna wait until he gets his schedule aligned with yours?
Yeah, I think I'd probably just wait until the stars align, if it ever aligns. Because there's like some things that he knows that I don't, and then there's some things that I know that he doesn't, and so I think it's just like it'd be a good contrast, and we have like differentiating opinions too, and so and we like get into our own little debates at times. So I think it'd be better if it was like a duo kind of thing opposed to just me.
Have you considered, I guess, bringing in, I guess, flag football guests too, just like people who compete and stuff onto? I guess if you guys get it rolling, you guys, is that something you considered?
Yeah, no, that was definitely one of the things we even wrote like a list of. We were like getting into logistics and everything, and then we even wrote a list about like people who we wanted potential guests on our podcast, other Hmong flag football players and whatnot.
That's pretty cool then. Yeah, I think I saw one video. I don't know if they still do. I don't know who this group is, but like some young kids were on my. I mentioned this on my interview with Austin Tao on Platinum Podcast. I watch a lot of like low key new up and coming podcasters. I love watching that kind of stuff. So I especially when it comes to like Hmong podcasters. I don't know what it is with it. I just like watching it, but I think I don't know what this group was called. I just watched one episode. I think they were doing a flag football thing. They were like comparing Hmong flag football teams and stuff, but they weren't really doing stats or anything. They were just giving their thoughts and opinions on the plays and how the players were. But yeah, man, I think something like that, what you're doing, it'll definitely work. Especially living in Minnesota, there's tons of athletes up there too.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that you also wanted to do voice acting. I think that you mentioned that on your Facebook too. Is that something that you're trying to do now?
Man, it's like one of those things where you just kind of like say it and you don't necessarily do it. I hate to be like that guy who like just talks the talk and doesn't walk the walk. But yeah, I don't know. It is something I would love to do. It's just like a dream, just kind of like fantasizing about, just doing voice acting and like going to conventions and movie premieres and, getting paid just to voice amazing characters and bring them to life. That'd be the dream. But I don't know if I'll take it seriously. I don't know. I've got like other avenues and lanes I'm thinking about, like personal training and boxing and whatnot. But maybe, I don't know, maybe. It's a big maybe.
I mean, voice acting, more people are definitely trying to do more voice acting for sure. I mean, it's so much easier to get like mics and stuff now, programs and editing and stuff like that, and just sending out clips and stuff. I wasn't sure if you were like doing it for real or not, so I was gonna ask you as well. There's just like, have you done like any reels or acting reels and stuff like that, or play any voices like that, just to see if you have that? Do you have any of that saved up, or is that something you're practicing at all?
No, I don't have any. I don't have any reels, unfortunately. I did come out with like 2 or 3 videos of me doing voice impressions from different anime. That was like maybe 2 years ago. I think I did one with Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, and Pokemon. But as far as like legit video reels and everything, I have not. But it was kind of cool though, because in that same post that you were talking about, there was a guy who I went to high school with. He was a year younger than me. He was more like closer with my sister, but he said he's a voice engineer or audio engineer out in New York right now. And he said, like, if I'm ever in town, like we can make a reel together. So I have the resources and people. I'm blessed to have that. So if I'm ever out in the East Coast, maybe me and him link up, we could do some things. But as of now, yeah, I haven't made any moves yet, besides like practicing little impressions here and there on my own in privacy.
I remember your Pokemon one for sure. You did like, I don't know if you did you do all the Pokemon or just some?
Yeah, I did the first original like 151 Pokemon. It was tough.
I think I saw like a clip of that on Facebook. But yeah, that was actually a while back already.
Yeah, it was.
So, before we wrap things up here on the podcast, man, I just want to say thank you for jumping back on this podcast, bro. And it's always great to have you on the podcast, man. Like I just having you on the podcast prior, it's more, I guess, the conversation flow is definitely more easier, versus like having a first time guest and stuff like that. And it's definitely, I feel more comfortable, when I have like a guest that's already knows how this works. So again, thank you for doing this. But yeah, man, I did mention earlier in this episode that we were gonna watch my backyard YouTube fight. So let me just get this up, and yeah, man, let me just do something here. Just share the screen here. It's very embarrassing for me because this is over 10 years ago. I was like 16 or so, and I do want to let viewers know I am not that good, and I'm still not that good. I was just getting into like the whole Kimbo Slice stuff, and it just so happened that when I was doing this stuff, I was watching Kimbo Slice too. So let me see here. All right, can you guys see it? All right, perfect. Okay. So the first video here, Ricky versus Sue. My voice, my friend Sue here. I think when I first met him, he's like a couple years older than me. So at this time I was 16. I think he was already either a senior or graduated already, and it was him, his older brother, whose name I forgot, and then his friend Ching, who was actually recording this video. We only did one round. I think it was only like 2 minutes. Yeah, I would definitely like talk about it more once we watch this. So, yeah, I have not watched this in forever, so I'm very shy to play this.
It doesn't keep track of time.
Okay, that got it done. Right? My bad. It's all good.
Oh man, that left hook.
Yeah.
Yeah, as you can tell, I have no experience whatsoever.
Don't be afraid, Ricky. Go in. Quit backing up, Ricky.
Oh man. That's probably like the only good shots I learned in this video.
Okay.
Getting busy.
Oh, I better.
Like, and the thing too, I felt bad because I knew I hit him pretty hard.
Yeah, he felt that one.
And then, oh man, this is where I just get my ass whooped for the rest of the video. Oh, look at that low guard, not even looking.
Yeah. Put it back to him for a second.
Oh man. Oh, I hate the fact that I was fighting southpaw at this time. I was terrible. Oh,
you were a righty, right?
Man. What was that?
Oh,
yeah.
You're a righty, right?
Yeah, I fight orthodox. But when I first started, I was like fighting. Oh my god, look at that! Just getting, getting pieced up. Oh my god, look at that, off balance. Oh, damn! Like that left hook was killing me. See that? No turn in that kick either. Sloppy.
Time so long time.
He wanted to give me the hands, man.
Yeah, he was head hunting.
So yeah, that's that was my friend Sue. I honestly haven't spoken to him in a very long time. I think the last time I've seen him, we actually sparred at my house. It was pretty good. It wasn't like heavy like that, but I from the very last time we sparred, I think it was like a couple of years ago. He noticed as well that I definitely improved from that video. But yeah, oh man, just watching that throwback video, just getting my ass handed. I still remember that like yesterday, man. It's just I thought I was the shit, man. I just got my ass handed.
I know it's we've definitely all had those experiences with sparring. I know I have. I still get those moments too, so it's all good. You should tell him to run it back for a three-peat. With sparring.
He probably still whipped my ass because I don't know what he's doing. I think he's married now. I know that he's married.
That means he's been slacking.
No,
married, okay.
I've seen some of his pictures and stuff. He still looks like he's in pretty good health compared to me. So, but yeah, he's actually, at least when I sparred with him, I think he was actually one of the very good, like, I guess natural fighters that I've versed, because he did a lot of like I don't want to confirm anything, but I think he did like a lot of schoolyard kind of scraps, so he had like a lot of experience in that, like the Diaz brothers, I think he had, like real training. I think he'd be pretty legit. And his older brother, who was not in the video, but his older brother was actually more terrifying than him, at least from what I've seen, because he was throwing like reverse kicks and flying kicks and shit, and the technique was good. And I'm just like, I'm not sparring him. So, and then the guy who was recording, Ching, he was actually the first guy I sparred that put me in an armbar and actually did like jujitsu on me. So that's when I wanted to learn the ground game because he was whooping my ass, and he was like, I wish I had the video. Again, like I said, like a lot of the stuff I had was deleted. So he was the first guy to throw like a Superman punch on me, and I was done. Like he just
did he catch it?
He landed it. He came in. I was so ready. I was training for like a couple of weeks already. I was like, I want to spar so bad right now. I feel like I'm so good. He comes in, keeps his guard low. And like we were like making eye contact, and that's something a fighter should never do. Always like the collarbones or the shoulders, you know. But I was making eye contact. Takes his eyes off me. Bam! Superman punch popped me right in my face, and I was done. Yeah, it was bad.
It's rough. It's rough.
But what are your thoughts, man? Like, give me your honest thoughts on that. 10 years ago, you saw the 16-year-old Ricky Vang do some sparring Kimbo Slice style. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, you did a lot better than a lot of other 16-year-olds, especially at the school that I work at. When I see the fights, you looked better than the 16-year-olds I've seen. Yeah. But kind of like what you pointed out too, like when you kicked, you didn't really put any twerk to it. You were kind of like, I don't know,
very stiff. Like it was just all leg movement. It wasn't even like body into it.
Yeah, and then I was also learning in Muay Thai. This is probably true with other martial arts too. But like even when you miss a kick, you're still supposed to like turn,
go all around.
The way. And then your guard was you kind of dropped your hands a little bit. But those are like the things that I noticed. But again, I've seen 16-year-olds fight in my school that I work at, and you fared a lot better than they did.
Like I still catch myself doing that though. Like you see in the video, you see like I dropped my left hand.
Yeah.
Well, in that video, I still kind of do that. I have to learn how to really just keep my hands up. I when I get like comfortable or like if I get into the groove of things, then I start dropping my left hand, and that's when I start getting popped. You can see like his left hook was just landing every time.
Yeah, that was rough. Yeah, I used to drop like my right hand, but then my coach like threatened me, and it was like if you keep on dropping your right hand, I'm literally gonna tape like your right hand to your face. And knowing him, he would like actually do it too. He's kind of like a hard ass, and so I was like, okay, I don't want to do that. So that made me always keep my right hand up.
But yeah, man. So I'm glad you enjoy that, man. It just for watchers and listeners of the podcast, that's just a bit of my past right there. Like I'm not trying to brag or anything, but it's just something that I did a long time ago, and with Van Brookes being an athlete too, I just wanted to share that with Van.
No, I'm glad you showed it to me, man. It was fun to watch.
Yeah, yeah. It's it's funny too, because like a lot of people just get this misconception of like if you talk about like fighting or training, then they think like you are trying to brag about it or be a hard ass about it, and really you just care about the sport, So I don't really want to come off like that, but I know for you, man, you said on Fax News that you are top 2, but you're not number 2 in football. Is that still true?
Oh yeah, no, it's true. Every day of the year, I am the greatest running back of all time in Hmong flag football. Currently, past, future, fourth dimension. I'm always gonna be the best.
You heard it there, folks. And Van Brookes is the best among flag football running back. Like we said in the last podcast, man, you got to have that Bakugo mentality, man. You got to win.
Yeah. Yes, indeed.
Did you have any last words or anything you wanted to plug before we wrap things up here officially?
No, man. Like when I get if I had my personal training certificate, I would have, definitely plugged in a little something about my training business. But that's a little later down the road in the summer, spring, maybe. So no, I don't have anything to plug.
All right, folks. So if you want to follow Van on Facebook or on Instagram, the links are in the description on Facebook. If you watch it on YouTube later this weekend, it'll be in the YouTube description as well. For those of you who listen to this podcast on audio, definitely watch the video portion where at least where we watch the fight, the 2-minute fight. But yeah, that's something I recommend you guys for anyone who just listens on audio to watch. But yeah, make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe to Spoiler Force Podcast on all major podcasting platforms and on YouTube as well. And again, like I said earlier in this episode, I'm almost at 500 subscribers. Just let me get there before the end of this year, and then I can do the free contest giveaway. And if you want to join that contest as well, make sure you follow all of the rules, please, because I know that I wrote quite a bit, but definitely just follow the rules, and that way you can be entered into the drawing of some Amazon gift cards and some comic books and Funko Pops that I'll be giving away as well. But again, thank you guys for watching and listening and for tuning in. Again, Van, thank you so much for doing this. If you ever want to jump back on the podcast again, man, just let me know.
Oh, again, bro, I appreciate it. I'm so humbled every time you ask me to be on here. It's always an amazing time. I appreciate it. Maybe, after I get my first amateur fight, I could have someone record it. Maybe we could, talk about it, go over that. That'd be pretty dope.
Yeah, I'll be looking forward to that, man. And that definitely keep it up with your training. And thank you for doing this, man. And everyone, thank you guys for watching. Have a great day. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to follow, like, share, subscribe, and rate Spoiler Force Podcast. For comments, questions, or criticism, you can email me at rickyvang92@gmail.com or message me on Instagram at instagram.com/rickyvang92.